All right, good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whenever you are watching this video. Welcome to Virtual Online Learning. I am Mr. Wheeler, a third grade teacher. I'm a proud third grade teacher at Dutro Elementary School. I'm in Newport News, Virginia. We are on packet 5 of the NNPS Virtual Learning Plan. Um, Today, I am covering the information for May 21st, 2020. Day 9, which is located on page 19 of our packet. This is our ninth week of online learning. Friends, if you want to take a second and pause the video and say our class pledge, no matter whose class you were in third grade, we use this pledge, friends. Please use it as a reminder to yourself that you are somebody, and no matter where you are, friends, you deserve the education that you get, and that you have things to do, people to impress, and places to go, friends. So if you want to, please take a second, pause the video, and say our pledge, friends. And also, here's just a picture of a puppy to make you happy. It makes me happy. Hopefully, it makes you happy as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look, excuse me, at what we are doing today. For day 9, we have like 3 reading activities or like literacy activities. We have a math activity, and then we have some science stuff that we can do. So, friends, in order to meet our learning targets for literacy, we have this vocabulary thing that we're supposed to do first, which involves completing questions 1 through 6 on the prefix and suffix showdown. I should have probably typed this up, friends, and I apologize for not doing so, friends. But remember, a prefix is a part of a word, not a whole word, but a part of a word that precedes or comes before that main base part or the root word. And then, friends, a suffix comes after. It follows a base or a root word. So, friends, instructions very simple. Complete questions number 1 through 6 on the prefix and suffix showdown. It is located on page 37. I just went on and retyped the questions here. So I will go over the questions, friends, and yeah, we will move forward from there. So we're going to go ahead and begin. Remember, friends, prefix comes before, suffix comes after. All right, in which word does the suffix ish mean the same as in the word selfish? Kevin was selfish when he wouldn't share his toys with his brother. So this sentence kind of gives you some context to help you think about what might be an acceptable answer. So, friends, your answer choices are fish, wishful, and foolish. So, friends, often with suffixes and prefixes, you will know if your answer is correct if you take the suffix or the prefix off and you are still left with a real word. So, friends, if I take ish off of fish, I just have, if I take ish from wishful, I have w then full. And then if I take ish off of foolish, I'm left with fool, which is a real word, friends. So I think that makes the most sense. So foolish is my answer for number 1. And this won't always work, but you can try to replace it in the sentence to see if it also makes sense. So Kevin was selfish, and selfish here is a trait, and Kevin could also be foolish as a trait. So, friends, I think that makes the most sense. So foolish is the best answer for number 1. I am so sorry. I was supposed to say, like, take a second and pause the video if you need to, friends. So moving forward, I'm going to try to remember that. Remember, pause the video if you want to try. Actually, you should be trying on your own to come up with these answers before you look at the video. Again, my mistake. All right, friends, number 2, take a second and pause the video if you wish, so that you can read and try to complete number 2. I think that you guys are getting the gist or the hang of what the questions are expecting because we've already done 1 together. All right, number 2, in which word does the prefix re mean the same as in the word remake? I had to remake my bed after my dog played on it. Re here means again, so I had to make my bed again. So, friends, if I'm looking at my answer choices, I can try to take re off the words, but I can also be like using that word again to help me. So, friends, if I take re off of this, I'm just left with azen, which isn't a real word, so it doesn't make any sense. If I take re off of test, I'm left with excuse me, if I take re off of retest, I'm left with test, which is a real word, and like test again makes sense. You might have to take a test again on something, so that makes sense to me. And if I take the re off of read, I'm left with add. Um, but here, like this, like when you say add, like without, come on, without it's spelled like this, it's like an advertisement, which really doesn't make any sense here. We're not going to advertisement again. Um, so, friends, I think the best answer is, of course, B, retest, test again. I had to retake the test because my teacher lost my paper. Just an example. All right, number 3, remember to pause the screen if you want to do it on your own. Come up with your answer and see if it matches the one I come up with. Number 3, in which word does the prefix un mean the same as in the word undo? My mom helped me undo the knot in my shoelace. So friends, like un means to like, not or like do the opposite of. So my mom helped me not do the knot or, take apart the knot in my shoelace. So friends, you have to think about which one of your answer choices makes the most sense without the un on front. So if I take un off of unclear, friends, I'm left with clear, which is a real word. If I take un off of uncle, I'm just left with coal, which is not a real word. If I take un off of under, I'm left with der, which again is not a real word. So friends, unclear, not clear. Some things are not clear. The teacher gave me the instructions and they were unclear, so I had to ask again. The teacher's instructions were not clear, so A makes the most sense to me. All right, number 4, take a second, pause the video, read it on your own if you want to, and then you can get back to the video. All right, number 4, in which word does the prefix pre mean the same as in the word preheat? I needed to preheat the oven to make sure it was hot enough before putting the pie inside. All right, and your answer choices are, this could be present. Present doesn't necessarily sound like pre. Let me just go through the answers first. Present, B, pretty, and C, pre-planned. So friends, going back to A, I got ahead of myself, sorry. If I take the pre off, I'm left with sent, which is a real word. But friends, you very rarely do you hear people say like present. Well, some people do. More people make that E a schwa, like present. So I'm not necessarily sure if that is the best answer choice. Also, well, I mean, it kind of does. I don't know. So friends, if I take pre off, I'm left with sent, like I sent before. Mm, well, that does kind of make sense, friends. I'm not going to lie. Let's go with the other answer choices. Pretty. If I take pre off, I'm just left with T, which doesn't make any sense. Friends, if I take pre off of pre-plan, I'm left with plan, which is a real word, friends. Sometimes you do need to pre-plan. Like before you take a test, you need to pre-plan. You need to make sure that you have like your pencils, and you need to make sure that you are reading passages more than once before you're answering questions, friends. So you do need to pre-plan. So, friends, between present and pre-plan, um, they both kind of make sense, but I think one of the answers is better than the other. I do think pre-plan is a better answer. It just makes more sense. It's the best answer choice. And oftentimes, friends, when you take tests, they will give you 2 possible answer choices, and one kind of makes sense, but one makes more than the other, friends. And pre-plan is just a stronger answer. So, friends, please use your discretion and your good judgment. All right, number 5, pause if you need to. Okay, number 5, in which word does the suffix full mean the same as in the word thankful? Amy was thankful she found her missing snake. All right, full here, the suffix full means full of. So, Amy is full of thanks, or she has a lot of thanks because she's found her missing snake. So you got to think about which one makes more sense. So A, fulfill, B, graceful, and C, fulcrum. Well, friends, even if we took full off of all the words, friends, we should automatically know which one makes the most sense because it's asking for a suffix. So, friends, a suffix comes at the end. So, friends, in A and C, the full is at the beginning of the word, fulfill, fulcrum. And both of those are real words, friends. Even if I took the full off here, I'd be left with the word fill. Crumb isn't spelled like that. You need a silent B on the end. But the best answer choice is, of course, B, because we have full coming at the end of the word, which is where suffixes normally come. Graceful. All right, number 6, go ahead and pause the video if you need to. And excuse me, and go ahead and, make your answer choice. All right, number 6. In which word does the prefix dis mean the same as in the word dishonest? It is dishonest, excuse me. It is important to be truthful instead of dishonest if you want someone to believe you. So friends, dis here means, anybody know? Does anybody remember? Dis here means not, again, like not honest. So it's important to be truthful, full of truth, instead of not honest if you want someone to believe you. So friends, we need to take dis off of these words to see which makes the most sense. So friends, for, excuse me, A, I have the word disable. If I take dis off of able, I'm left, sorry, if I take dis off of disable, excuse me, I'm left with able, which is a real word. If I take dis off of distance, I'm just left with tense, which isn't a real word. If I take disc off, if I take dis off of disc, excuse me, I'm just left with a k, which is just a sound, not a real word. So friends, the best answer choice, of course, is A, disable. So friends, those are your answers. If I was going kind of fast for you friends, please feel free to go back and pause the video and reread the question to think about what makes the most sense. All right? All right. All right. The Exxon Valdez oil tanker, which was located on page 43 of your packet, which was way at the end. Well, page 48. Sorry, 48. I'm sorry, y'all. 48 if you have the online packet like Mr. Wheeler. All right. So I'm going to read the article, and then we're going to go back and put captions on these two pictures. That was the activity for reading today. Friends, remember, captions are a text feature that helps you to understand what's going on more clearly in the picture. And of course, that will help you to more clearly understand the text. Oftentimes, so friends, when you get to college or like high school even, and like you're studying for something, you're like reading your textbook over. I remember when I was like in high school and I was in college, friends, I didn't have time to go back and read the whole text again. So I would maybe go back and look at some of these pictures and look at the captions to refresh my memory about what I had learned about. Friends, that is only a strategy you should use after you have already read the text. Um, please do your due diligence in high school and college. All right, so friends, I'm going to go ahead and start reading the Exxon Valdez oil tanker. In 1990, there was a spill from an oil tanker called the Exxon Valdez. 11 million gallons of oil spilled in Alaska. About 1,000 miles of land was hurt by the oil. It was very bad. In the months that followed, workers collected more than 36,000 oil birds and more than 1,000 sea otters. The number of sea creatures killed was several times the number saved. The sea otter population is still on its way to recovery. There are still some spots with oil all these years later. Cleanup went on for years. So many seabirds, bald eagles, sea otters, harbor seals, killer whales, and salmon were killed. Oil spills happen all over the world. They cause pollution. They ruin the homes of animals. They kill animals and plants. So, friends, sorry, Mr. Wheeler had got like I was a little shocked when I was reading Friends because it talked about how like the sea otters Friends, the population is still like coming back to normal Friends, and this was in 1990, which is like that's older than Miss Ruler. That's like 30 years ago, Friends. So this was like a horrendous incident here, and there's still like spots with oil on them like 30 years after this has happened. So this was a horrible, horrible incident. All right, so your job was to, or is to rather, put captions on these two pictures. So friends, I think this is a good article. I learned a lot of important information, but your job becomes to, excuse me, your job becomes to put captions or like short sentences under these pictures to help them make more sense. So again, your instructions very simple, write two caps for the pictures below. A caption is a short sentence that describes what is going on in a picture. I found a color picture of the same picture just to make it look a bit nicer. All right. So my caption was 11 million gallons of oil from the Exxon Valdez oil tanker spill or spilled we'll go past tense, spilled into the water surrounding Alaska and its coast and caused massive pollution. All right, and then very simply, friends, this was a picture of some sort of bird. Um, so I just wrote a bird is covered in oil as a result of the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Just told me very simply, what's going on in the picture. All right, so friends, if I go back to my packet and I go back to, what page is it? Day 9 is on page 19. I've completed my vocabulary. I've completed my reading, friends, where I wrote my captions for those 2 photographs that helped like connect, my captions were connected, excuse me, to the information in the article. And for writing, we are supposed to be writing a journal entry. I believe I did the journal entry last week, friends. It was super fun. I did it again. Let me read the instructions very quickly. It says, write another journal entry that includes the date and how you feel now that you are continuing to learn at home. Explain something new that you have learned, something that you have enjoyed doing, and how you have been feeling, being away from your teacher and friends. Please keep your journal entries with your packet. So last week I explained this. If you didn't watch my video last week, that's okay. Mr. His feelings are not hurt. But when you are writing a good a journal entry or a good letter to somebody, friends, you should have 5 like essential components in your letter. You should have a heading, which Mr. Wheeler has here. It's just where you write the date. Today is going to be May 21st, 2020. You have a greeting where you kind of say like, hello journal, or dear journal, or hello Mr. Wheeler, whoever you're writing to, friends. That's where you greet or you like kind of say hello to the person or to the thing you're writing to. Then you have the actual body, which is the actual letter you're writing. Then at the end, you have the closing, where you say like love, or thank you for listening, or sincerely, or best wishes. And then you have your signature, where you use cursive or some, your fancy handwriting, friends, to sign your letter. And that's where you write your name. So, friends, you have those 5 basic parts of a letter. And I remember I do like a little dance. I go heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. And it helps me to remember. So friends, I'm going to read my letter very quickly and follow along. If you want to pause the video and try to read my letter on your own, friends, I think that would be a good use of time. So what I'm gonna do very quickly is I'm gonna show the beginning of my letter. You can pause it here. And well, actually, I'm going to show the beginning of my letter, then I'm going to show the end of my letter. So pause where you need to. So here's the beginning of my letter. And there is the end of my letter. So pause where you need to. All right. So May 21st, 2020. Dear Journal, this is the 9th week of online learning. Soon, school will be coming to an end. I have had fun making my YouTube videos because they help my students and I get to teach, which is one of my favorite things to do. Since the last time I recorded in my journal, not much has changed. First, I'm still working on learning Spanish. It is still fun, but I am not practicing as much as I should. Also, I am still drinking lots of water. When I think about my students, I am still, you know what, I'm gonna take out one of these sads, friends, because I mean, one of these stills, because I'm feeling like repetitive. I've said like still too much. I'll take this other one out too, just to work on like my personal style. I don't need to say still too much. I am sad that we did not get to finish the year. I am hopeful that I will see everyone next year. Even though I won't be your 4th grade teacher, I will, made a mistake. That's why it's important to proofread. I will always be your 3rd grade teacher, so please come and see me. In conclusion, keep reading every day, at least for 20 minutes. Love, Mr. Wheeler. So friends, thank you for like helping me as I read my letter, friends, helping me to like fix some mistakes and like make some things like a bit stronger. I just want to bring attention to like how I like buried my sentences because, like Ms. was said last time, we often start a lot of our sentences like I went to the store, I bought some candy, I went home, I cleaned my room, I did some chores, friends, and it just sounds like really repetitive. So friends, I use some transition words to kind of like help me. And we know like there's basic transition words like first, then, next, and last, which help you to kind of tell your story in order. But if you get tired of using some of those, friends, you can try some other ones. Like Mr. Lee used soon. I used also, and then at the end, I used in conclusion, to kind of like, wrap things up. So those are just some other kind of transition words you can use to vary your sentences, friends, because we don't want to start all of our sentences with I or my brother and me. We want to have good rhythm, pretty much, friends, when we are reading, so that our writing sounds like, first of all, so that it sounds like talking, and so that it also sounds like good things that other people can read. We want it to sound very natural. So please keep some of those things in mind when you are writing. And remember, friends, if you're wanting to get better at writing, you should be reading. Remember, writers are readers. All right, so I believe that that is it for literacy. So we have accomplished our vocabulary, reading, and writing learning targets through the completion of those three activities. All right, so for math today, we have yet another word problem. And before you begin, if you have somebody, friends, maybe a sister or a brother who's in a grade level close to you, or maybe they're not, maybe they're much older or much younger, or if you have, mom or dad or anyone who can help you at home, please try to grab them, because we're trying to work on collaboration today, to complete our um, our word problem. If you don't have anybody, friends, that's fine. You can be partners with me, and you can kind of see what I did to help you get better. So your question was, and I have it right here, so I just read it directly from my notebook. It says, imagine that you and your family went to Bluebird Gap Farm in Hampton. In the big fenced yard that was home to emus, cows, horses, pigs, and even ducks. You saw a total of 50 feet and hooves. Okay, sorry, friends. I think there's like a word missing that kind of got me like a little off. All right. So, friends, it says work with the partner to determine two sets of animals you could have seen. Use pictures, words, and numbers to show your answer. So, Mr. Lee went through those 4 steps. What do I know? What's my question? What's my plan to solve? How do I know my answer is right? It always helps me to solve problems. So, what do I know? There are emus, cows, horses, pigs, it should say and ducks. And ducks. And ducks. Oh my goodness. Okay, perfect. Yes, now that makes sense. So, I got it directly from the problem. Excuse me, I lost my thought for a second. And over here, friends, I have a picture of an emu, in case you know what an emu is. From this picture, if you still don't know, friends, it's a type of large bird. I believe they're flightless. I could be wrong. Mr. has never met an emu before. I just found a picture online. All right, so normally Mr. always says for the what do you know part, just use what's in the problem. You have to think a bit deeper, friends, in order to solve this problem, because you have to think about the feet and the hooves. So it became important for me to think about how many feet or how many hooves does do each of these animals have. So emus have 2 feet, as shown by this picture here. Cows have 4. Horses have 4. Pigs have 4, and ducks have 2. So I kind of needed that information to also help me solve my problem. So yeah, I needed some additional information from my own brain to kind of think about what I knew. All right, so what is the question? I wrote, what possible combination of animals could I have seen that totaled up to 50 feet or hooves? Friends, that's not exactly how it was worded in the problem. As a matter of fact, there was this, honestly, this was kind of hard, because they didn't give you a specific question, friends. So you have to do like a bit more deeper thinking and think about what the question's actually asking you to answer, excuse me. So friends, what the question is asking you is, what possible combination of animals could you have seen that totaled up to 50 feet and hooves? If you're on this farm and you see 50 feet or 50 hooves all together, in total 50, what combination of animals did you see? That's what the question's asking. And the question is asking you for 2 possible combinations. So you essentially have to answer the question twice. So friends, what is our plan to solve? How are we going to solve this problem? Honestly, friends, I did what I did last week when I did last Thursday's video. You could have drawn a picture and counted feet. However, as you can see, friends, this emu, now that you really, really like to draw, drawing emus is kind of hard. It might be a rather tiresome, complicated activity, friends, to draw all of these feet and hooves. But you can do that. If that is what it's going to take to help you to understand, friends, by all means, start drawing these animals and start drawing feet. There is nothing wrong with doing that if you need to do it. However, if you want to save a bit more time and feel that you can, because you know yourself as a mathematician, friends, you can make a chart and add. This is exactly what I did last week. So I wrote this as a reminder to myself, and hopefully it's a reminder to y'all. Friends, I'll go back up because I don't want to share my chart just yet. Friends, 50 feet sounds like a lot of feet considering we as humans only have 2. But some of these animals have 4 feet, and the numbers start to add up pretty quickly. So you should keep your numbers small. You should think about what is going to be reasonable. I already know, friends, that I'm not going to have 50 pigs and 20 horses running around my farm because I can only have 50 feet in total. Friends, if I had 50 pigs with 4 feet each, that's 200 feet. That's way too many feet. So I'm not going to have anything, I'm not going to have big numbers like 50. I might not even have numbers big like 10, because if I have 10 pigs, that's 40 pigs, right? 40 feet right there. And I want to try to have a varied combination of animals on my farm. I didn't write this down, but I think like it's kind of like one of those rules that really like make sense. You need to have at least one of each animal because it said that these animals were present. And the way I kind of did is I tried to have more than one of each of these animals because it said, I believe it was plural. It says there are emus, cows, horses, pigs, and ducks. It didn't say there is an emu, cows, horses. So friends, these S's make these words plural. So I should try to have more than one of each of these in my chart. So I made a chart and then I need to add. And friends, I'm going to go back and count to make sure that all this makes sense. So friends, in my chart, in parentheses, which are these lines that look like this, it represents the number of feet they have. So in parentheses right here represents the number of feet. The numbers that are not in parentheses, friends, just represent the number of animals. All right. And down here, I just have the total number of feet, which should equal 50 if I've done my job correctly. So friends, I'm going to go through and just like quickly, I would encourage you to pause this video, friends, and double check my math, friends, because Mr. Wheeler has been wrong, so wrong with being wrong. So, pause the video if you need to and make sure that Mr. Wheeler is right. And we are going to count the number of feet to make sure that it makes, just double checking. I found an error. Okay. Maybe I meant 3. We'll check there in a minute. To make sure that we are right. I should probably underline that. Now I'm stuck on that, friends. We'll get there. I'll go back to it. Okay, so friends, I'm counting. 3 emus, each of them have 2 feet. So that's 2, 4, 6. 3 emus, 2 feet. So 6 plus 12 is, and I want you to try to figure out this before Miss Rilla, so I'm going to go kind of slow. 6 plus 12 is 18. 18 plus 16 is 34. Mr. Rilla to count himself. 34 plus 12. Remember, count ones, then count tens, friends. 34 plus 12 is 46. And 46 plus 4 more is 47, 48, 49, 50. There you go. So, friends, that makes sense to Mr. Wheeler. All right. Now, in the second one, I had 6 emus, so that's 12 feet. I had 2 cows, that's 8 feet. I have 2 horses, that's 8 feet. I have 2 pigs, that's 8 feet. And I have 7 ducks, that's 14 feet. So let me go ahead and start adding. I'm just adding from left to right, friends. 12 plus 8, that's 20. 20 plus 8 more, I'm just changing the ones place, that's 28. 28 plus 8 is 36. And 36 plus 14, and my ones place 6 plus 4 is 10, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. 36 plus 14 does make 50. All right, and in the last column, I'm just counting my feet one more time. I know that I have a mistake here somewhere. I might be wrong, we'll see. If I have to go back and change it, it's fine. 10 plus 8 makes 18. 18 plus 8 makes 26. 26 plus 12 makes 38, and 38, okay, so yeah, perfect. 38 plus 12 equals 50. So friends, that is what you have to do. I only found um, 3 possible answers. I can guarantee you there are probably a lot more answers that you can find. So that is what I did. I made a chart and I added. And friends, I did another step that I really didn't talk about. So friends, in order to get these numbers in parentheses, what did I really do? I I multiplied. So 3 times 2, I'm counting groups of 2 feet. So 2, 4, 6. So friends, I can very easily count by 2s. And if I can count by 2s, I can count by 4s. Because counting by 4s is the same, except I'm just skipping every other number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So friends, counting by 2s and counting by 4s is another strategy that I used in this problem to help me solve this problem. But I'm saying it's multiplication because it's kind of like the same thing. Skip counting and multiplication, friends, are kind of similar strategies. So friends, how do I know my answer is correct? If I add it to find my answer, I can subtract to make sure that we are correct. So friends, I'm going to start with 50, and if I have counted correctly, I should be at 0 by the time I get back down here. So friends, bear with me because Mr. Wheeler, like subtracting is a bit harder than addition, so this might be slow for Mr. Wheeler. 50 minus 4 is 46. 46 minus 12 is 34. 34 minus 16 is 18. 18 minus 12 is 6. And 6 minus 6 is 0. So I started with 0 at the end right there. So that makes sense. You can go back and double check my math. Friends, if I still made a mistake, I apologize. Mr. Wheeler is not perfect. And if I made a mistake, please email me and let me know so that I can go back and edit my description box and, tell you guys I made a mistake. Nothing wrong with making mistakes. So friends, for science today, in order to complete the last part of the learning target, you need to go back to the Exxon Valdez oil tanker activity, which is on the last page. If you want to go back and listen to Mr. Wheeler read this article, please do so. As a matter of fact, I think it would probably be helpful to go back in the video and think about what this means again. I'm going to read you the instructions and then share kind of what I wrote. So it says, imagine if you were an animal that was swimming in the ocean where an oil spill happened. Pretend to be each animal. What would that animal have to say about the oil spill? So friends, you have a sea turtle, a pelican, which is a large bird, a penguin, and a fish. So I'm going to share with you very quickly what I wrote. But the goal, of course, is for you to come up with your own statements. All right, so sea turtle. I wrote, I don't want to lay my eggs on this dirty beach. Pelican, I wrote, I can't hunt for fish because the oil is making the yeah, that makes sense. I can't hunt for fish because the oil is making the fish difficult to see in the water. Penguin, it's hard to waddle around on this slippery oil. You know, kind of like waddle around. And then fish, help, I can't see. My gills are filling up with oil and it's hard to breathe. Because you know that like fish kind of breathe in oxygen through their gills. They don't have lungs like us humans. All right. And then for science, the packet gives you some YouTube videos and another video that you can go and watch to make more sense of what is going on. So friends, those are your activities today. Please email your teacher or email me if I'm your teacher or not. If you have any questions about what is going on for day 9. Tomorrow is day 10, and that will be Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. Have a good weekend. I believe that Memorial Day is coming up soon. Please find some way to celebrate and still be safe. Please remember to stay safe, everybody. You know, wear your mask, wash your hands, don't gather in groups of 10 or more. Just have a good time, friends. I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching this video, and bye.